Welcome to the Focus with Javon Adams. My name is Javon. You can call me Jay or J Love. I do this thing once a week and looking to expand it twice a week and some with conversations. I know I've had conversations with some of my folks, my peoples. So looking to do that, but again, I want to make it's like a podcast that I listen to. Um, Black Entrepreneur podcast where he talks about wanting to make content that's valuable and that resonates. So I don't want to rush the process on any of that stuff. But tell a friend about what I have going on here. You can go to focusnowtalk.com to get in or to sign up for the free newsletter or email list, and that will let you know once a new pod drops in your inbox. So wherever you get this, you can go to focusnowtalk.com and wherever you find your podcast. So today, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, and I wasn't planning on having my partner here on with me, but it just makes sense, and it's kind of synergistic in a lot of ways when it comes to that. But I wanted to talk about kind of this. So for those who don't know, besides being a runner, I'm a musician, so I'm an MC, and so I've been working on this album with my group mate. I guess you could say it's a duo now since there's the two of us here. But so I wanted to 7 things I learned while recording my new album, and so it's kind of serendipitous that I reached out to my partner, my group member, Kane, and asked him, just to make sure I remember what the damn name of the project is. And so then it came down to me having him on. So what's up, Kane? How you living, my brother?
Always good, man. Healthy, happy, blessed to see another day. I hope the same for
Indeed.
you.
Indeed. Yeah, you know how we do it, man. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I wrote 7 things. I sent you in the jargon of radio shows and podcasts, I sent you the rundown in terms of what those 7 things are. There might be pushback. Maybe as you were on your way to the crib, maybe you thought of 1 or 2 other than the things that I have, but just things that I learned, 7 things that I learned recording this new project. And so want to get into those. So the first thing I
Okay.
learned, and the name of the project, so the name of our group is called Tha Unda, THAUNDA, and you can go to theunda.com, THAUNDA.com. So you can go to theunda.com and you can, go and buy some merch and do all that stuff. Support your boys, support your folks, man. But so the name of the project is called Unda Distinguished. So of
Absolutely.
course, a play on words there. But so here's start with number 1. The first thing that I learned, one of the first things that I learned about recording this new album is collaboration. And I just want to get your thoughts on it. I'll give you my thoughts. This project is one in which we've had, typically when we're doing group stuff, it's really just us, because you're a producer as well as an MC, and I just do that MC stuff, right? And
Hmm.
and so collaboration bringing in a new ear for mixing purposes, mixing and mastering purposes, not in one that's not just at the end of the project, but as we're going through and getting these songs mixed. And so it's a different kind of collaboration that's put into the mix there. So that's one thing, because when I'm doing my own projects, when I'm doing my own solo stuff, there's some collaboration, but it's really just me. And so for a while, it was you and I, we hadn't done anything in a while.
Right.
And so coming back together, we got to learn to collaborate a little bit more to be able to give and take and
Hmm.
really buy into each other's ideas. So that's number 1, collaborate. What do you think about that? Push back, agree, disagree? Let me know what you think.
It definitely was an adjustment this time going around, because I think our mindset has also changed when it comes to this project. Meaning, we've changed in life, we've grown in life, we've gone through other experiences since the last time we've actually done a group project. So perspective on the type of music, the sound, and the presentation has definitely changed. So collaboration between you and I have been great, actually, and I think is we both compromised. I believe we both compromised quite a bit in order to reach one goal. So I actually think it's a lot. This project is a lot better than past projects because of the collaboration, the input of ideas on both sides. So let me give you an example. Like we talked the other day about the last project and how you had an influence on one particular track.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know years past, I didn't want any influence with my big headed self. I didn't want influence on the production part of it from
Yeah.
anybody else. But now that everybody has an invested interest in the actual outcome of the thing, it feels a little bit better. I feel more confident about it, and I love it. it actually helps me grow more, not just as an artist, but as a person too, as well. So I'm happier. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely been a compromise and a
Yeah.
collaboration.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so we're on point with that one. So the first one was collaborate. So cool. So that's one of the that's number one. So the second thing I put on there was trust. So here's what I mean by
Mm.
trust. So trust just in terms of, again, when you're, because you've recorded projects by yourself, and you being the producer, there's that there you're when you're going in and you know from A to Z what you plan on doing. And when I go
Right.
in and I'm doing something, I might get something from another producer, and I boom, you gave me the beat, thank you, I'll get somebody to mix it, thank you so much, I got the idea for the blah blah blah, all that stuff. That's it's just me. So it's almost like a silo mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the trust that has to come with, hey Jay, let's try to do this with your vocals. Hey Jay, try to start here, start a little bit here. Those things that can help to that I believe make this project what it is in terms of good quality, really high quality. But it's the trusting that your way is not my way is not always the right way. And I
Right.
think that trust is the second thing that I learned going through and recording this new project. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, yep. Okay. So let me say this to go back to the trust from the beginning. I'd asked of you a lot of trust for this particular project and past projects, but I've also had to, you asked me of trust as well for this project. Let me give you an example. When you came with the Run the Jewels idea and you brought that to the table, I had
Mhm.
to put my trust in you and the sound that you wanted to bring to the table. And I'm glad that I did. You know what I mean? Again, I wasn't so compromising and so trusting prior projects. But yeah, trust has definitely been a big lesson in this project too.
Cool. So again, so this can apply whether it's music, whether you are out there trying to figure out how you're gonna hit your weight goals, whatever it is. So then get in this way, in this project, in this journey for this project. This is what that I learned, and hopefully, we may have some pushback here, or whatever. So collaborate, trust. The third one is follow up and accountability.
Mm,
So yeah, follow up and accountability over. I'll raise my hand and say there, it's no secret. I've mentioned it on the podcast before in terms of once when my dad passed away, and just things hit a little bit different. It wasn't as if I was depressed, but just the priority or the rush to get to something was not really there.
right.
And what ends up happening, and so it's the follow up for me to make sure if I tell you I'm gonna get you this verse on Tuesday, that I get you the verse on Tuesday, and the accountability for that, and being able to understand and not just say, okay, I didn't get you the verse, man, just leave me alone. But it's also saying, look, taking accountability for it, because that's the worst thing in the world when if your business partner, your group partner, your teammate, whatever, whoever that might be, is looking at you saying you didn't do what you're supposed to do, and you saying, I get it, just get off my back. No, take the accountability and then go through and then follow up in that way. And that's what I learned. And I know that that's something it's not new to me, but it just was kind of reinforced in terms of especially towards the tail end of this project with the last couple, 2 or 3 songs that we've been recording. What do you think about that?
So um, what's the word? What's the word again? It's
It's
accountability.
follow up and
Follow up.
accountability. Follow
Follow
up
up and
slash
accountability.
accountability.
So that's an interesting topic on this, especially when it comes to this dynamic. Because one, if I didn't know you, and if we were if we newly met, going into this project, it can be interpreted a different way. However,
Mhm.
because we have a relationship outside of this, prior to this, and we've built a relationship because of this, holding me accountable actually is a motivation at the same time.
Right.
Some people can look at it in a different way and probably get offended. Why are you telling me to do that?
Yeah.
But that's not how I take it, and I don't think that you take it that way when we have these conversations. Again, that comes with growth, but holding me accountable for my responsibilities and my action actually is what's helped push this project along. I be the first one to tell you now that I'm a lagger when it comes to certain things, but it's not lagging because I just don't want to do it. It's lagging because I'm waiting for sometimes the perfect moment, and the perfect moment can actually hold back a whole goal, because it doesn't
There's
happen. There's
there's
no
a
such
there's
thing.
a there's a saying, and I mentioned this last week on the pod, that don't let it's a saying that I've come across. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. So don't be
Right.
perfect. And that's sometimes we have those heated discussions where I say it doesn't have to be perfect, man. We'll fail along the way. And that's one of the things that I've learned. But we got to just get through it in order to be able to figure out what adjustments or how we need to navigate that.
Right. And me being me having to hold up my end of the bargain, the team, the collaboration, holding me accountable for what I promised to do is actually a good thing to do in a team, in any team. And that's just like a marriage. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to hold each other down when things get rough and keep everybody on track. So being accountable, learning to become accountable is actually what making this project a lot stronger than the past.
Indeed. So again, So focus. I got my man SugaKane on here with me. We're part of the Unda. We're part of the Unda. So we're talking about 7 things that I learned recording this new album that we have. Is called Unda Distinguished. That will be start to leak those singles out here shortly. And you can go to theunda.com, THAUNDA.com. So collaborate, trust, follow up, accountability. The other one is embrace creativity. Embrace creativity, and I think I think it will be safe to say that we've both done that. You just alluded to the Run the Jewels theme track. That was something new in terms of the way in which that creative energy flowed. And then there's been a couple of tracks where you say, just trust me, Jay, this is the vibe I'm looking for this one. Let's just give it a try. And I think we're both to the point. I'm especially with some of the stuff that I've recorded over time with different producers. I'll try to push myself in different ways to just try something new, realizing that especially since it's not studio time per se that we're wasting. It might just be time that's wasted as opposed to going and paying $40 an hour to test some stuff. Right. But that's one of the things so embracing creativity when it comes to technology, social media, all that stuff, just different ways to be creative. And so that's another one of the things that I learned on this one. Let me know your thoughts on that one.
Absolutely. You said something. Remember, I sat and had a conversation with you, and I said to you, in the midst of doing this project, I said, Jay, I'm gonna do a solo project as well. And I started it, sent you some, and your first response to me was, because I asked you, always ask feedback, what you think. And your response to me was, I think it's dope, but do you really care what anybody else thinks? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Just do what you want to do. If it feels good to you, just continue doing it. And I think that's a big part of it. We tend to get caught up in trends to get certain attention. We tend to get caught up in what's current and what's going to be down the road in 5 to 10, 15 years. But you can't really control any of that. At the end of the day, you got to do what makes you feel good and what you're comfortable with, what defines you, the goal you're trying to get out, the message you're trying to preach. That's what you got to work for, and not what's trendy. And so I think, that's definitely a new lesson for me.
All right. So then the next one is make mistakes. It's okay. So that might be able to be rolled up into one previously, but make mistakes. It's okay. You try a beat. You try an idea, a concept. It doesn't work. You try a different flow. Maybe it doesn't work. Try something in terms of an album cover. Maybe it doesn't work. Whatever it is, but make mistakes. It's okay. For one, we can't learn unless we try, because if you're afraid to try, then you won't make mistakes because you never try, so forth. And so it becomes this vicious cycle. But make mistakes. It's okay, especially learning some of the program that I'm using, and I don't even know metronome, but yeah. So making mistakes, it's okay as long as you learn from it and keep trying to be creative in that way.
Right. Thoughts? Yeah. If you're not willing to make a mistake, you can't make a mistake. You can't learn. Mm-hmm. We learn from our mistakes. It's natural. It's a natural event in life. You're going to learn from your mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then how do you learn?
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you are out there on on your sales territory and you don't make that, you're afraid to make that call because you're afraid you'll say the wrong thing. You might say the wrong thing. That's okay. Mm-hmm. Well, you learn from it, and that's how you grow.
Right.
All right. The next one is enjoy the process. Enjoy the process because if whatever you're doing feels like work, because there's work involved. There's work involved with doing the gardening. There's work involved with making dinner. There's work involved with that stuff. But if it feels like work, then that can take away the joy. It's a
Right.
process and all that stuff. It's a journey. This is all true, but to enjoy that process, to enjoy what you're doing, and that's the feeling or the joy or the excitement or the adrenaline rush that comes from hearing a beat that motivates you and makes you know what you want to write right away, or the challenge of a beat where it's dope but you don't know how you're going to approach writing it, those types of things. So enjoy the process.
Right. If you can't enjoy it, then why do it?
Yeah.
If you can't enjoy anything that you do, and that's just not just music, right? That's just anything in life at this point. If you can't enjoy it, then what's the purpose of doing it at all? You know what I mean? Right? Because that means you're doing it for somebody else. You and I have not been doing this for anybody else other than ourselves. You know what I mean? And the feeling is great when you create an idea, you create a topic, you create a thought, and you're able to put that thought into motion, and then it just feels good to you. And then when it feels good to you, others outside notice it, and they feel and they get the same vibe. So if you can't enjoy what you're doing, what's the point in doing it at this point in life, at this stage in life?
Yeah. I think I would say all the way through, because then it becomes like, when do you stop and say now? Yesterday it was about doing whatever for them. Now today, as of today, it's about doing for me. I think you have to. It's a fine line. It's a fine balance. But whether you are an accountant, whether you're a garbage man, whatever it is, you got to try to. If you don't like it, then try to do something different, right? Until you find something that gives you that joy, that can give you that type of sense of accomplishment or whatever that positive thing is. But yeah, for sure. So the last thing is, music is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Music is fun. That's just simple. So music is fun. So going through I can think of when Dab Daniels, who does a lot of the mixing and the mastering for the songs, when there are ideas, you say, this is what I want to do on a song, and I say, man, this is what I'm hearing on what I want to hear for my vocals, or this is the idea that I have. And then when you hear that finished product, that is invigorating.
Mm-hmm.
It's the jotting down ideas on a sheet of paper and then coming up with the speech, and then you deliver the speech and it just delivered the way in which you want it to. It's going out and knowing that this is what I want to do this week. I want to get XYZ in terms X amount of revenue in my sales territory. And then you break it down in steps, and then you go through and you do it, and you feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel as if the work that you're putting in, the time that you're putting in, the process, that it works. And music is fun. And that's number 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, we had a conversation a couple of months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and we came up with the acronyms DIE.
Mm-hmm.
Dream, innovate, and execute, right?
Right.
And that's the whole thing. That this is just something you dream of, you create, something you thought of, and you brought it to light. But if you don't do it, if you don't even try it, then there's always going to be that question, like, what if?
True indeed.
What if? I don't like what ifs. So let's just do it at this point.
Indeed. So, all right. So that's SugaKane. So we're breaking these 7 down for you. So again, this is the focus. Call me J Love. So collaborate, trust, follow up / accountability, embrace creativity, make mistakes. It's okay. Enjoy the process. And music is fun. And while music is fun for us, it might be running is fun for you. Running is fun for me. It might be yoga is fun. It might be insert whatever that is there. But I believe that's applicable for no matter what it is that you do, that if you break it down, and it's a process. So it's not just it's not just the finish line. The finish line is important. Don't get me wrong. But if all you're focusing on is the finish line, then you'll never enjoy, you'll never be able to appreciate, it's probably a better way to say it, the ups and downs that come as you're on your way to that finish line. And that makes, and I think that's where the joy and the fulfillment come from.
Right. So let me ask you this along the same topic. Are you in a rush?
Nah, you good.
All right. So right now, there's a new lane has been created as far as the 50 years it just made to the sound, to this genre. At this point, you're not looking for a deal. You're not looking to get praise. You're not looking to get a certain expectation out of. You're not expecting a certain outcome other than just doing it out of love. Right. Am I correct?
Correct.
When did that change for you?
That probably changed for me probably about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And the reason being is because some of the things that are necessary, some of the sacrifices that are necessary to get certain levels of let's say success. I was going to say fame, but that's not, but certain levels of success
Mm-hmm.
are not things that I'm willing to do. And we talked about that before. I still love to perform.
Yep.
I don't think performing is as much a joy for you as it is for me. So if I get the chance to do it, I'll go in and jump on there and get 15, 20 minutes and then go about my business. But those, I don't mind those things, but the longer time being away, let's say from family or some of those things, those aren't those that doesn't excite me. I know a couple of folks that are doing it independently. One particular is Megaran, and he's doing his thing. He stays on the road quite a bit, and you got to keep churning out that. It's that is his only job, which is great, and he's been able to kind of get into some other lanes as a result of his consistency, and also being able to find some other passions lanes that the music can get him into. But yeah, but it's a sacrifice, and
Absolutely.
especially once streams started coming about, it's different. You can't. And that's one of the things we'll talk about offline. I think about having physical product, because I think
Yep.
that those still sell to a certain extent. I was just at a venue just the other day. It was not a hip hop venue, but people were buying CDs. Some people will say, "I bought the CD. I don't even have a CD player."
Right.
But it was probably about 6 years ago.
Yeah. I think when I had my child about 9, 10 years ago, that definitely changed how I looked at the whole thing, because you have to, like you said, you have to sacrifice quite a bit. The problem is, it's not just you sacrificing, it's your entire family and the ones around you that love you, that you have to make that sacrifice as well. So at what price?
It's true.
Yeah, at this point, like you said, I don't like to use the word hobby, because hobby is not, to me, doesn't appropriately describe what's going on. I think it's a passion more than anything else, because it's an art form.
Yeah.
If I was painting a picture, nobody would ask me to stop painting the picture. You see what I'm saying? I'm painting a picture, but I'm just painting a sonic picture as opposed to a physical picture. So yeah, I'm just curious. People have their interpretations on things. I watched something with Joe Claire interview today. Remember Joe Claire?
Yeah.
And Joe Claire said, "Hey, you grew in life. Life has changed. Don't stop it just because you're like 20 years older. Keep talking, spitting, writing. Do exactly what you've been doing. Just update your topics."
Indeed.
Yep.
And that's my man SugaKane. So go check out theunda.com, THAUNDA. Go to focusnowtalk.com as well. Sign up for the newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter on both sites, so you can stay in tune with what we have coming out and going on. But yeah, so as I always like to say around this time, you can.
Peace.